Hello and welcome back to Automotive Tales. On today's episode, we're going to talk about how you change your starter motor on this era of Transit Connect. So this is the Ford Transit Connect or Tornado Connect, which is a Gen 1 C170 platform from 2002 to 2013. This is the 1.8 litre TDCI diesel known as a Duratorque or Lynx engine. We're going to prove today that you can do this fix in under 30 minutes without a jack or a lift. So as you might have seen in the previous video, we've been having a problem with this where it keeps popping the fuse in the starter circuit because you try and turn the key and the starter motor just doesn't want to turn. Now we were able to short the starter motor to the battery with a little fly lead. And that was working temporarily until we realized what the actual problem was. So let me explain. Okay, so here we have a starter motor for the Transit, and it is a two-part machine. It is a motor, which starts the engine, and we have a solenoid. And the way it works is there is always power to the terminals of the motor, but while the motor is sitting back there, it is not connected. So you see this gear here has a space here where it can move forward. So what happens when you turn the key in the ignition is it puts a voltage across this solenoid, which then brings the motor forward. When it comes forward, it connects to the terminals that are permanently live, and that then starts the motor spinning. And then when the solenoid lets go, i.e. when you turn the key away, that then disappears back out of the way. So the ring gear on the flywheel runs in this little gap here. It moves out of the way of that and is no longer engaged with the flywheel. What appears to be happening in this van is that when we're trying to start the car, occasionally this solenoid is getting jammed. Now, if this solenoid gets jammed, you're effectively short-circuiting the key starter circuit to the neutral, and so it just pops the fuse. There's a little 20 amp fuse in here that goes pop. So what we found is we were able to keep starting it using this cable, because if it shorts, this cable doesn't mind too much and will force the solenoid to go. Although we have noticed recently sometimes it jams completely, and you can actually see nice little marks on the terminal here where it's been shorting, trying to actually get it to run. So we're going to do the job properly and replace the starter motor, which is super easy on these vans because the starter motor is right at the front of the engine, just down there, which you can access from under the front. In fact, we've got it just up on a slight curb because you can access it from underneath. You don't really need the van in the air to do this job. So I'm going to talk you through what tools you need. I recommend using a 10mm spanner to undo the terminal on the battery, and I use this. This is a little cover for a brand new battery terminal when you buy one from Halfords or another place. I keep hold of these. They're really useful to stick over spare batteries. It's also useful for sticking over the battery in the car once you disconnect the terminal to make sure that the terminal doesn't jump back into place and just touch the edge of the stub that sticks out of the battery and then cause you problems. Then you are going to need, I've just used some 3/8 tools. You can use the same 3/8 drive for everything. So you will need 10mm once again. This is for the terminal that runs the cable to your key, your starter system, your starter circuit. I recommend at least a deep socket or a short socket with an extension so you've got a bit of room to maneuver and move your hands away from the oily bits. Now on mine, I needed both a 13 and a 12mm. Chances are on yours probably only a 13. The 13 is used for the bolts on the nose of the starter motor that hold it into the gearbox, and for the big terminal where the power lead from the battery and then it goes off to the alternator is connected. On the old starter motor on this van, they were both a 13. On the new one, the connector for the battery lead was actually a 12, so I needed to take both of them under the car with me, and then just a 3/8 ratchet drive. Now, if you're more sensible than me and you don't want to get oil under your nails and look disgusting when you go to work on Monday, I would also recommend some nitrile gloves. And in the case of mine, where the solenoid had failed, it had blown the fuse in the starter circuit, which is this 20 amp yellow fuse here. You can see it's absolutely destroyed. I'd also recommend one of these little fuse pullers. Sometimes you get these in the fuse box of your car. If you're ever scrapping a car and there's one of these in the fuse box, I recommend taking it out along with all the fuses, because sometimes the fuses are lined up very, very closely together and you can't get your fingers in to pull them out. You can use a needle nose plier, but you can damage the top of the fuse if you do that. But these work an absolute treat. So that is everything you need. This starter motor job on this Transit is unbelievably simple. If I can do it, you can do it. Okay, first things first, you want to disconnect this terminal. So it is a 10mm socket or spanner onto here. Loosen this nut off. Once that is sufficiently loose, you should be able to pull that terminal and just pop it out of the way. Now, it doesn't necessarily want to sit down the back of the battery because this is quite a big one in here, and it'll become clear why we need to do that in just a second. So if you happen to have had a new battery recently, these little terminal covers are excellent for this job, because that is now definitely not going to touch the terminal. So this is the back of the new starter motor, and you'll see there are 3 terminals here. This one is already jumped, so we're going to undo the other 2 terminals which have got the power from the battery, and this one down here, which is the lead that comes from the starter circuit. So when you turn the key, it puts 12 volts across this. This has permanent 12 volts from the battery. And that is why we need to disconnect the battery, because if this lead here gets loose and touches any of the bodywork or any of the engine block, which is earthed, that's direct from one side of the battery to the other, and you will short the battery, and then smoky things will happen, and it's a very, very bad day. So now we're isolated, we can disconnect those 2, and then we can work on how we're going to take the starter motor out, which I'll show you in just a second. Okay, it is incredibly tight under here, but I'm determined to demonstrate that you can do this without jacking the car up. So you can see I'm focused on the alternator at the moment. That's driver's side if you're in the UK. And then sort of in the middle, more or less, so you can just about see the intercooler there, if it'll focus. And then the starter motor is right here. So a few things you need to know. You can see all those terminals on the back. So this bottom one here is a 10mm. This one here with the live straight from the battery on, that is a 13mm. You ideally want to get a socket on those because you won't get a spanner on, because this little plastic shroud around one of the connectors there. And then do not undo these bolts here, which are a 10mm. You actually take this out because that will take the motor out of the casting here, which is part of the starter motor assembly. You want to do the 13mm, which is very oily on this one, just here. There's another one just here, and another one slightly further up. You can't quite see on the camera, but you can see an earth connector going to it just up there. So 1, 2, 3, and that will take your starter motor out. It is literally as simple as that. The most difficult bit, I think, is getting these connectors away and off the terminals. That shouldn't be too bad. So the first thing I'm going to do is disconnect these, and I will bring the camera back and show you what disconnecting all of that looks like. Pay no attention to how oily my engine is. Nothing to see here. Okay, I hope you can hear me because it is incredibly windy today for some reason. But I have undone the 10mm, which is down here. Now what you will find is this little connector block won't come away immediately until you've undone the 13, which is the nice shiny terminal here. That releases this cable that goes straight from the, well, it actually goes from the alternator. So this one is live from the battery, so it goes into the starter motor and then piggybacks for the alternator, which is just over there. So once you've disconnected those 2, then this third terminal on the 10mm will come free. And that's it. That is all of the wiring on the starter motor disconnected. That is everything you need. It's just literally 3 connectors over 2 terminals. So now it's on to these over here, which are 13mm as well. There was one job I forgot to do, which is apply sun cream to my pasty little legs, because I was starting to cook very nicely lying here under the van. Right, time to go back in and finish getting the starter motor out. So that one's cracked off. That one's cracked off. And that one's cracked off. Right, all I need to do is just loosen those off. Okay, so I have got almost all of the bolts out. I have just one left to get out here, but obviously at this point you need 2 hands, so you will need to hold the alternator. You will need to hold the starter motor. You can hold the alternator if you want, but that's not going to help you. You need to hold the starter motor, because once you take that 3rd bolt out, it will drop on your head. Trust me. The couple of things to note, as you can see, this cable in the way here, is this lower one has got the bracket on, which is for the cabling for the starter motor. So you need to make sure when you put the new one in, you put that back through, you put the bolt back through that bracket, and that holds it in place. And then there is an earth, which you can now see flapping around up here, which goes on this top bolt on the starter motor. So I've got a couple of turns left on this one. So I'm going to put the camera down now. So a couple of turns on that, and this lifts out backwards away from the engine. So I really hope this comes out on camera, because it's not so easy to see what I'm filming. But if you can see up here, so this is where the starter motor lives. So you can see I've taken it out. You can probably see the flywheel there from the engine. So that's what the starter motor engages with. So the new one is going to slot straight back into here, and then we can reconnect all those terminals. Proof you can take a starter motor out without jacking the van up, which is sometimes quite useful, because somebody's Golf is still on the lift. This is fine. It's super easy, honest. Yeah. Okay, change of scenery, into some shade. No prizes for working out which is the old one, which is the new one, and you can see the state of this. It is disgusting. So the nose of this starter is covered in oil and grease coming off the engine. That could be part of the problem. The other potential issue is this sits right at the front of the engine, really low down, just under the grille of the van. And the solenoid here sits even further forward. And whenever you are driving this in winter, this gets covered in rain and moisture and horribleness. And I did actually have to wade in the van a little bit to get out of trouble when it was really, really wet during winter. So almost certainly this went underwater, which means water will have got into the nose and possibly into the solenoid here. So I suspect something has gone rusty in here, and that's what's causing the solenoid to seize. Now, you could take this apart and clean it all up. There's potentially life left in this alternator because it is only a couple of years old. Looking at this, I mean, terminals are all nice and clean, so it's not been on there that long. But for the sake of, I think it was 26 quid for this remanufactured starter motor, it just honestly isn't worth it. It pains me to say it, but it's easier just to throw that away, pop in a nice new one. So one quick thing to do before going back under the van is to loosen off the new hardware. So there are 2 new nuts on these terminals here, these threaded terminals. You might want to loosen those off before putting the starter motor in, and trying to do that in the awkward space underneath the van just makes life a little bit easier. So another good reason for checking the hardware before putting this into the car is actually this has got a 12mm nut, not a 13, so I'm going to have to take an extra socket underneath me because the bolts that go in this end near the nose are a 13, and now means I need a 12 for that, as well as a 10 for this little one here. So one extra socket to take with me when I wiggle under the van. Okay, so we are back under the van. It is time to fit the new starter motor. So nose first. And it slots back into here. There's quite a nice fit once you get it lined up, although it's not going to do it now. There we go. And I'm going to reach for one of the oily 13mm nuts and try and get that in to start with to hold this in place. Then I can let go of it. Hopefully your van isn't quite as oily as mine, but then it is a Ford, so it's entirely possible you're suffering the same grease fest that I am. So we can see the loosened terminal here for the starter to battery, which is this one here. So that goes on first. Then lead that goes to the alternator, and just whip the 10mm off here. Okay, that nut is now on, and then last but not least, that one onto there. So on my van, this is the one that's the 12mm. So these don't need to be particularly tight. I'm sure there is a spec torque for doing it, but basically tight enough with your hand around the end of the ratchet like that is more than enough. Don't try tightening it with the end of here. That's way too much leverage and you will snap a bolt. Again, you don't have to be too precious about this, but I'm trying to get it just so. Okay. Now, the last thing I need to do is get that earth cable on the top bolt, which is way up here. I say way up here, I mean, it's not that far up, but far enough to be a bit of a pain. Nicely, they've got quite a long hole through the casting for the gearbox, so you can get the screws nicely lined up before you get them anywhere near a thread. These are a 13. Oh, my arms don't bend that way. I'm sure the Haynes Book of Lies will give a torque value for these bolts. These are a little bit more important, so I will look that up and I will add it to the video. But for the purposes of my sheddy old van, these are going to go to a very specific torque setting. It's called FT, which means tight, just so it doesn't come out. And that will do the job as far as I'm concerned, because I suspect there's probably only about 1,000 miles or more left in this van. If you would like an absolute heap of a van for very, very little money, I mean, if you ask my wife, she would give it to you, but if you would like to give me 500 whole British pounds for this Transit, I would be overjoyed. Right, they are as FT as I can get it from this position. So that is done. Well, I say done, I still have to go and put the battery terminal back on, but we have got our terminal now, which should start this from the key. We've got a power from the battery, we've got a feed to the alternator. The one thing we will have to do is replace the blown fuse, which I have yet to do because I don't want to keep popping fuses and wasting fuses. I also need to wiggle out from underneath here, which could be interesting once again. Right, greasy, oily hands. Right, time to get that fuse replaced before we reconnect the battery terminal. So this is the fuse box for the Transit, and I believe it's this fuse here, which has popped. Oh, I don't know if you can see that. That is well and truly toast. Right, get the terminal back on and see whether this thing starts on the key or not. Okay, my battery terminal is back on. No magic smoke has escaped yet, which is good. Don't forget to tighten up the little 10mm on here, because what can happen is you start to draw current through that, the terminal will jump slightly and disconnect, which can then make you think that it isn't working. Ask me how I know. Right, moment of truth. Right, fingers crossed. On the button. Lovely jubbly. No idea what that light is there. Oh, fuel light, yes. We need some diesel. Rightio, Sheddy van is fixed, and I'm going to make one recommendation. Now, I am not sponsored in any way, shape or form, although I would happily be sponsored by these guys, the Friendly Soap Company. They're actually based out of Yorkshire, so close to my heart as a Yorkshireman through and through. This stuff is the only thing I use now for cleaning my hands after these horrible jobs. Look how nice and clean my hands are. They don't dry your skin out. It actually genuinely is a great product instead of using the green goopy stuff I used to use. So yeah, no way am I sponsored by these guys, but this genuinely is great for scrubbing up after horrible oily jobs on sheddy little vans like this. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching.